item number 62. And I think I've passed out a sheet of the requested amendment. And essentially what it is, it's changing the service unit rate for the Sims events service area from $57.24 to $17.72. Additionally, this request is being made inasmuch as we are requesting equity in the taxing, if you will, of service areas around the city. As we know, the events as proposed, the events Sim service area represents 3 times the cost of the next service area with regard to costs being assessed to the developer fee in this particular area. We think that by doing so, it deters development around the city's events watershed, and for the most undeveloped area in the city of Houston to have such a imposition with regard to an escalated service unit rate, we don't think it's in the best interest of not only the residents of the events Sim service area, but from an equitable position with regard to the way that the rates are structured. We don't think that it's in line. Additionally, this particular service rate, while arguments can be made that the dollars from this tax has to be used in this particular area, the way the service fee unit works, it will be lumped into the Rebuild Houston funding structure, and so as a result, these dollars will be included in lieu of dollars as opposed to in addition dollars. So no new projects will stem from it. The rating of worst first parcel will be essentially move forward, and so the dollars will be thrown into the pot, and it does not guarantee that any new dollars will come in with regard to this particular fund under this new tax. So it is my hope that my colleagues support this amendment, not only in equity, but also so we can have good quality development for the entire city without dissuading developers to move forward. And I will ask for a roll call on this. Thank you.
And Councilmember, if you will just call it a fee and not a tax. You are a lawyer, you know words matter.
Fee.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mayor.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mayor. I too want to support Councilmember Green's amendment, and I have submitted a memo as well stating my concerns. But I do agree with Councilmember Green about the number and the equality for the area. We want to encourage development in this area and not hinder it and pass along it looks like a pretty significant cost. And I do want to commend Councilmember Green on all his work, his staff, for keeping us posted and working with us on this issue. Thank you, Mayor.
Vice Mayor Pro Tem Bradford.
Thank you, Mayor. And this is a reduction in the proposed fee, and I certainly support that. Having said that, my question is, what is necessary, perhaps, Mr. Feldman, if we were to readjust this fee at some point in time in the future? What is necessary if there would be a need to readjust the fee?
It's a difficult question to answer because we have statutory guidance with respect to how we determine the fees. What council sets is a maximum. Although it would be somewhat unusual in light of the fact that there is obviously data to support the 5724, I believe council could come back at a later point in time and based on, say, development in the area to raise the maximum from 1772 in light of the fact that there's already data that would support 5724.
Thank you.
It would require a formal vote of council.
Thank you. I want to support our Councilman Green and his effort here to, one, acknowledge that clearly in this particular watershed, there are more land, there's more land there, or more land tracts that need to be developed, and we all talk about development, and that's really a plus. It's a bonus, it's a resource that lies in your district is land that need to be developed, so we'll see development going that way in the future. Consistent with that, we want to display a rate that is attractive to development and compared to other watershed rates. So I do appreciate you offering the 1772 as a revised rate, and I shall support that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilman Green.
Councilmember Christie.
Just two questions, and probably support this. The higher fee was promulgated by the more undeveloped land, is that correct, Mr. Green?
Yes, partially.
And is it a fact that it goes to the general fund of Rebuild Houston and is not prioritized to your district?
Okay, the first question, is it based on undeveloped funds? Not all. It is based, the calculation that was used by Public Works with regard to fixing the fee, the service unit calculation was the future growth, the cost of the project versus existing cost and future existing growth of the particular service unit area. So proposed development that could come into the area minus existing growth in the area and divided by future growth is how they came up with it. So really it's all speculative with regard to how that actual number came up, because it's based upon a projected growth.
But it is fact that these increased revenues promulgated by the higher fee is not directly directed to your district.
In theory, specifically the law requires that it be directed to my area. However, in practice, it's not, because of the way the worst first system operates. This fee goes into the big pot. Prioritization has already established with regard to particular projects. As a result, no new projects will come into the fold because we have new dollars. It'll just go with regard to what they will probably say is that we will make sure that these dollars are used to the existing projects in your district. So it's not getting additional dollars into the project. It's probably in lieu of dollars coming into the area.
Thank you.
But the direct answer to your question is the dollars are supposed to be are supposed to benefit that watershed. He's describing the mechanism by which that would happen, but the dollars generated in the watershed ultimately benefit the watershed.
Is that direct?
No, sir. As Councilmember, I think he fairly accurately described how it works.
Okay.
Councilmember Adams.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to commend Councilmember Green as well, and for communicating with me, because this particular area we share both in District and K. And want to commend Andy Eakin as well, because he has already communicated with us on economic development opportunities that's coming along that corridor. So this is a way where incentives can be given and granted to those developers that want to come in to the community. So I commend you and I support your amendment, Councilmember, for looking at this and for including, District E in that, because Sam's, of course, Vince, that whole area affects both of us. So I just wanted to commend and thank the administration for, I'm hoping that that's supporting this item. So thank you, Councilmember Green.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes, ma'am. Maybe indulge me for a minute. As a newest council member, they asked me what is a dumb question, but I read through the RCA and the ordinance, and I still don't understand a lot of it. Seems counterintuitive that we would penalize people and charge them more to try and develop within areas that need development projects. I understand how it affects drainage and things like that, but it almost is counterintuitive to me in that we give out tax abatements, incentives, and things like that to have people develop projects within areas, and here it seems to be more of a penalty than it is, and I understand the infrastructure and drainage position on that, but maybe some color around that. And also, how does this relate to the 380 agreements that we have where we give money back to developers in the form of different items and different abatements that we receive?
It has no relation to
At all.
380 agreements at all. Of course, the amounts are determined based on a formula laid out in state law, and it has to be done on a watershed by watershed basis. And it's as if you start from today with a blank sheet of paper and you say, how much new development is going to occur in each watershed? In a watershed that is heavily developed, such as Buffalo Bio downtown, you're not going to do much new development. And so on that blank sheet of paper, it will show not much need for new drainage capacity, but in an area that has very little development, such as these portions of Vince watershed, is going to need more. And it's that blank sheet of paper now.
Can I ask a quick follow-up? Do we find that is a position that maybe developers look at and pull away from a certain project because of the cost structure that we've placed on it because of that?
That's a really excellent question, and I would say no. This is not $17.72 per square foot or anything like that. It is based on a service unit, which is it 1,000 square feet service unit. So if you're building a single-family home, it's a less than $100 impact on that property. And the land values in these undeveloped areas are significantly lower than land values in the developed watersheds. And so again, apples to apples, it's still much less expensive to build, even many times this drainage impact fee. Appreciate the questions. Mayor Pro Tem Gonzalez.
Thank you. I want to thank Councilmember Green for his work on this. I feel that his request is reasonable. One of the concerns that I voiced early on is just, I know that the methodology that was used or in looking at the research conducted by, I believe, HJC, in looking at projections for growth, I saw them as just that, just projections, not absolutes. So I feel that while our statutory requirement is to set a maximum amount for service unit rates, it's up to the council body to ultimately decide what we want the actual rate to be. And I think that we should take information based on our perspective of those neighborhoods and communities of potential growth. And I'm not sure if items such as the Parks by You initiative that was passed by the voters that hopefully will increase our connectivity with hike and bike trails, will make communities that perhaps were overlooked before, will make them more appealing for development. So I think that if that's the case, then we should not create any real or false barriers by an increased service unit rate. Even now, it still would be the highest service unit rate in the city. So I think that it's reasonable. I think that the statutory requirement is for us to look at this every 5 years. So within 5 years, we could revise this again if needed with more information. And I think that's reasonable. And so I think that, again, his request is reasonable. So I just wanted to add that to the discussion. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Gonzalez, if I may add, the statutory requirement is that it be looked at each 10 years, as has been previously stated. The city intends to come back in 5-year increments so that it can more closely reflect the actual development activity. Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. And I concur with the concerns of Councilmember Martin, because if in fact this is an insignificant burden placed upon the developers or insignificant amount of resources brought into the city, on the other hand, we are doing tax abatements and 380s, and so it's like, we bring in a little bit of money here and then we give a tax break on the other hand. So we need to evaluate what really do we want to do, encouraging new businesses into the city, building new structures that are taxable, bringing in new jobs. This helps bring in new revenue. And so I'll be supporting the amendment, but I will not be supporting the item as a whole. Thank you.
Just a reminder, council members, this is a requirement of this body to adopt it. It is now in our charter. As part of the vote on the drainage fee, it also included a developer impact fee. So we are responding to the will of the voters of Houston. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, we will move to a vote on the amendment. Favoring, opposed, item carries unanimously. Do you wish a roll call vote?